link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my first safe. Five. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tasting with the fade, not the air, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my first safe. Five. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tasting with the fade, not the air, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my first safe. Five. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tasting with the fade, not the air, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my first safe. Five. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tasting with the fade, not the air, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my first safe. Five. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tasting with the fade, not the air, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my first safe. Five. I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tasting with the fade, not the air, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knocking. I'm not the same. Thinking money made me change, nothing else to blame. Bougie stuck up in my way, singing Gucci gang. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci gang, think I'm Gucci Mane. I'm just playing in the cut, I got my Vans on. I'm not selfish, I get on to put my mans on. Always greedy since the day I got my
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr., broadcasting live once again from the DFW, that is Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. This is a great Saturday morning. Of course, you know, this is March 25th, 2023. We're about to get ready to head out the month of March, about to get ready to go into the month of April. So, man, I hope y'all are prepared. I hope y'all getting this stuff done. I hope you being real with yourself, being serious with yourself, because we get so excited about the first of the year, and then we go through this list. We get so excited, so emotional, and then after January, we go right back into that reality. Go right back to that poor state that we was in, and we go and we carry that all throughout the year until we get to go up to December 31st, January 1st. Let's be about our business. Let's make it better because you see what was going on in our generation. You see what's going on in our society. You see the stuff that people are doing, but most importantly, you want to live the best life that you know how to live. You want to be the best person you know how to be. You want to be who God created you to be. You want to be the individual who masters everything. You want to be the individual who's dominant. And I ain't just talking about dominant in things. I'm talking about dominant in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mastering ourselves. That's the first thing we need to learn. To learn how to master ourselves in order for us to be successful. And once we learn how to master ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, everything else gonna fall right in place. So, like I said, my name is Furman Jackson Jr. I'm the host and founder, CEO of Walking This Way's Impact Force podcast, and I'm about to create and we have a great conversation this morning. We're gonna be talking about breaking the silence. That's the name of the episode, breaking the silence. So I'm about to get ready to pass it on. So I want my guests to go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, can you all hear me pretty good?
Hear you loud and clear.
Oh, thank you. Everyone, I am TeKeisha Wade, Coach Keisha, and I am your narcissistic abuse recovery coach, also international certified self-healing recovery coach, and I am the host, founder as well of the Coaching Experience show. And I also have a new show coming out called Let's Talk. It's time to heal. Let's talk on BHC Media Network. It's so wonderful to be here this.
And that's what's up. And also go ahead and plug in. Go ahead, Desiree, introduce yourself.
So I'm Desiree Bailey, and I am excited for today's episode. I have been waiting all weekend for this. I cannot wait to get the scoop. Got lots of questions, and I know that all of them now or logging in later are going to definitely find it useful.
And
Yes.
awesome. And like I said, we're talking. The name of the episode is called "Breaking the Silence." We're talking about narcissism. We're gonna get into the
Mm-hmm.
definition of it. Really, break it down what it is. When I looked it up before, it's a personality that anybody can adapt to.
Mm-hmm.
We really want to get into it. I hear a lot of time. I hear a lot of people say, "Well, I'm not with this person anymore because they was a straight up narcissist and stuff like that." I want to ask you, can you pick up the signs of a narcissist? Can you really pick it up quick, or is it something you may have later on down the road eventually end up saying this person's a narcissist? But we really want to get into that. But I hear a lot of women say it, but I never really hear men say, "Well, I'm not with this woman because she was a narcissist." But this has been mentioned that a guy said, "I know a female narcissist" and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, Keisha, you experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you have come across it. I know you dealt with it. I know you are helping women along who are dealing with that. And
Yes.
just take us through the journey from where you at, from when you first encountered that
Mm-hmm.
to where you are today with helping out people who are experiencing that right now.
Okay, thank you, Furman. My journey through narcissism did not, I wasn't really truly aware of it until I would probably say in my late 20s. Did not realize I was going through that type of abuse because individuals look at abuse as physical. You know, we grew up at hearing individuals being hit um, was abuse. So as I went along my journey in these relationships, I didn't look at it as abuse. I didn't know what narcissism was. I really truly did not really recognize it until one day me and my mom was talking, and out of nowhere during our conversation, she said, well, maybe, and this was a reference to my ex, maybe he's a narcissist. Have you ever thought about that? And I said, I've never heard of that term, but I left it sitting on the table. You know how you hear things and you just leave it there? So I left it sitting on the table, that word, until I started being an FBI agent. And I started Googling things like, why is this? You start being an FBI Google agent, and things would just come up, and then finally it just all of a sudden just came about. It just birthed. You need to look up the word narcissism. I started researching. I started taking courses, and that's when the light was like there, like it's just, and it's like, oh my God, this is very damaging. So throughout my relationships prior to my ex, I did notice some signs. As I truly was aware of it, I did notice some signs with individuals, but the abuse itself that I experienced was through childhood, definitely childhood, and being in that relationship with my ex really brought that experience out, because he was a narcissist. And it's hard to call someone that when you love them, because when you experience this type of abuse, this abuse is not, and I tell people, people say don't use this word so lightly. What they don't realize is a spiritual thing. This person takes away a piece of you, or, and I'm sorry, y'all, my son in the background. um, that person takes a piece of you from somewhere, and it's a mental deterioration. It's it's like you're not in this world anymore. You get in this dark space, and it's so hard to describe. And that's why I wanted to bring about breaking the silence. And the reason why I wanted to bring out breaking the silence, because as you all hear me speaking about it, it's very hard to articulate this type of abuse. Because when people hear about the journey, you'll think about toxic. Oh, this person is just toxic. No. If you experience the love bombing, the breadcrumbing, the manipulative tactics, I'm talking about the tactics that they use is not your normal manipulative tactics. You got the gaslighting. I mean, you will develop CPTSD, and that's not in the DSM-5. So it's and feel free to ask questions, because again, this type of silence needs to be broken, because when you tell your story, other people can start relating to it, because there's narcissism, there's narcissistic personality disorder. This is the person, but everyone experience different things with different people.
Right. Right.
You're
Most
not going to
definitely.
experience the same thing. Now you're going to have, now it's like the narcissists do have a playbook. They do. They have a playbook that they have, and they use the same tactics but different ways.
Right. And that makes sense. I know, Desiree, you have anything you want to add, ask?
Yeah, and Furman, I'm going to disagree. I think that I hear a lot of men calling women narcissists.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just normally that we would say that to, you hear it more with, I guess, girls saying that about the guys, because that's like the one thing we can say, even if it's, not always true. But I do think that there needs to be a lot more awareness to it, for sure. I think that it's very unhealthy. It's damaging to the person that's having to, suffer from somebody treating them that way. And when you gaslighting, I mean, you hit the nail on the head on that part.
Yeah, because I said I was just looking up some on narcissism. I just want to read about it. It says narcissism is selfishness involved in a sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, a need for admiring, as categorized as a personality type. So we know there is a personality type. It's not a gender. See, what they are people now making it as a gender. It's a male thing, it's a female thing. It's not a gender, it's a personality type that anyone could pick up, develop. And that's what it is. Because you hear a lot of people when they say, well, I'm not with this person because they was this nurses. And what it is now, they put everybody in the box. Well, all females are like they coming up with these catchphrases now. Because back then I didn't hear the word narcissism back then. All you had back then was somebody being self-centered, obnoxious, not caring about anybody, prideful, abusive, cheating, stuff like that. But now you hear these terminologies now. Like you hear these terminologies like female nature, modern day woman, all these goofy catchphrases they coming up with now to put these on people. So they put everybody now in the same box, which is not fair.
Right. Again, it's not. I have more men now that I coach men as well. An empowerment coach for men, and I have a lot of men that do come have to my have service. They do. I can't even talk, y'all, this morning. It's one morning that I'm just all over the place, so y'all have to excuse me. They do sign up for my coaching, and they experience. And one of my friends, he brought to my attention the best way to describe it is Delilah or Jezebel. Those if individuals are familiar with those type of women in the Bible, you know how Jezebel operated and how Delilah, and they bring that to my attention, and I can connect the dots, because I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes women can be worse than the men. And truly, how it's reason why individuals don't bring it up as far as a woman being a narcissist, because it's covered up by beauty. You know, women use their beauty to cover this type of behavior. Because again, this is why I stated you have to break the silence so that you can tell your experience to give the different types of signs that you saw in this person. Because again, everyone is not the same. And some of the women that that the guys tell me about is very, very manipulative. The women are more manipulative than ever. And they use more of the love bombing tactics as well. So they come in giving you everything that you desire or you want, especially if you have this old fashioned way of mentality that women, I've had men to ask, I wonder, can she cook? Sorry, y'all, my dog is barking at the delivery guy. Let me close my door. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, goodness. Excuse me, y'all. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry, y'all. Just when and again, the enemy don't want me to talk about this today. I promise you, the enemy doesn't want me to talk about it today. But what did I left off, y'all? I'm sorry. I just forgot it.
You asked about can she want to know can she cook? I want you to finish it up because I want to add to that too, because go ahead and finish up on that.
Yes. So automatically he looks at what she's displaying and what she's displaying to not know the signs of the narcissistic personality disorder this woman has. And if she comes in and she can cook and she can cook like a chef, she's giving him everything that he desire. And I know people don't want to talk about this, but this is a grown conversation. You know, people, put your kids in another room. Sex, she uses that as a tactic as well.
Let me ask this, Keisha, and you mentioned that up. Okay, he asked today. He mentioned, can she cook? I mean,
Yes,
wonder can she cook? Let me say this: if she can cook, is that something you told her that, or that's something she just did? So what a lot of guys do
both.
is they quit to put a woman in a relationship so fast. Just because she cooked you a meal, just
Uh-huh.
because she did this for you, they quit to say, "Oh, we together." And
Uh-huh.
then instead of just taking the time, because on both ends, just say you want to see if the man gonna stay consistent,
Uh-huh.
and you want to see she gonna stay consistent. That's what some guys do. They say as soon as she cook a meal, they want to
Uh-huh.
put in a relationship instead of just giving time to develop. To me, that could have been a nice thing she just did. But then another thing with the sex part, that was what they want. They want to do the sex. But I'm gonna ask you this too, Keisha.
Uh-huh.
It's like some guys they will put up with the behavior just
Uh-huh.
because they getting sex.
Uh-huh. Yes, they will. And some men feel ashamed because some men grew up in an old-fashioned way that, he has to stay in this relationship, or he failed, or he took his identity, and placed his identity into this relationship. Men feel failure too. Men feel guilt because these women can make them feel this way, and they dismiss it because of, yes, that very thing. Oh, she can cook, she meets the criteria of the old fashioned way. She can cook, she can clean, she can do all these things my mom did. Some.
That's it right there. Now they want to put it. They try to put. They want to make her to be mommy so bad, and that's not
Uh-huh.
good. Like you
No.
said, oh my mama did that, and that's the problem.
Uh-huh.
They want to make it mommy so bad. She's not mommy.
Right.
The Bible says you have to leave your mother and father and cleave to your wife. Your
Uh-huh.
wife is not your mother, and that's what we want to see. They try to put you in mommy. She's not mommy. She's supposed to be your
Uh-huh.
wife, your help me, your partner, whatever you want to call it, but not mommy. And that's a
Right.
bad trait to look for.
Yes, and that's the trait. That's the trait that they see, and this is what covers the flags. And then also, if you grew up in that type of, and to be honest with you, most women have narcissistic mothers. Most men, in this both ways, has had or grew up with narcissistic moms, not just dads, because we hear it all the time. Oh, you must got daddy issues. No, the mom can also play a part in that. And that's what most men tend to maneuver through. And then when they've seen their mom do these types of things, they feel she must be the one. Don't worry about her passive aggression. Don't worry about that, because hey, she's doing everything my mom did with my dad. Um, and sometimes with mom as well, some individuals say that women um couldn't be narcissists because we could just be just have this toxic manner. No. um if you grew up, again, and this can be a male or a female, if you grew up in it, the red flags become green flags to you. It's okay. The behavior is okay because this is what I'm used to.
And you know what? You bringing up some key points. You said that's what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you need to go back to going back to learn how to love yourself. to
Mm-hmm.
value yourself. You know, we was never taught to love yourself. We were never taught to value yourself. Even the
Mm-hmm.
Bible tells us to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Correct.
And that's what we have to got. We've got to love ourselves. That's why we put ourselves in these situations, because of the lack of, I'm gonna say, love for ourselves, not the knowledge of loving ourselves, knowing our value, knowing our worth. That go for a man and a woman, knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing that you're worthy to have be a part of your life. And not just take anybody or anything, take anybody for granted, period.
Right.
And it's all about getting to know the character of a person. As we mature in life and get older in life and get more wiser, we
Mm-hmm.
get past the looks. You know, as young, when we was young guys, when we was young, we thought about how, oh, she looks pretty, she looks good, she got a body, and all this other stuff. And then when
Mm-hmm.
we give this individual, mental issues involved,
Mm-hmm.
hurt involved, trauma involved, but we
Mm-hmm.
never got a chance to get to that now because we never addressed that elephant in the room. But now we're starting to address the elephant in the room. It's like
Right.
now, okay, even though I went through that in my life and I learned that, now I want to get to know the individual. I want to know your character. I want to know you. I don't care about how your hair look. I don't care about how you look
Right.
on the
Right.
outside. I want to know you. It's just like you should want to know me. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
sound real good talking,
Yes.
but now with the old saying, actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
Now we have to get to the action part. Let's got to start getting moved by word. Even the Bible said we have soothsayers.
Yes.
So stop getting moved by what people say and start watching their actions, watch their every move. See how they treat a person in
Mm-hmm.
public. How is they responsible?
Mm-hmm.
We never looked at this stuff, Keisha. Are
Right.
they responsible? How is your relationship with your parents?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a child, how's your relationship with your child? This kind of stuff we have to know before we enter into these relationships now.
Yes, and I want to say something. I want to piggyback from you, Furman, for that as well. What you need to also gather is how do they treat themselves?
Right, most definitely. You're right. You're right about that.
Because some of the narcissistic personalities that I have has journeyed through and experienced, they have behaviors that's very dangerous, not to only the person but themselves. They go, because they got to have that constant admiration. They got to always have that person to fill them up. This causes them to have multiple sex partners. And for you to have that many partners, you don't respect yourself. You don't respect your health. They just not that. They also have tendencies to just act out of impulse, and they will gravitate to behaviors, acts that's dangerous, even driving, even as little as having road rage. These individuals can be very dangerous, and you have so many different types of narcissists. You have your covert narcissist, you have your overt narcissist, you have your malignant narcissist, and you have a healthy narcissist. You can be a healthy narcissist, and it's nothing wrong with that. But these people are very, very damaging to themselves. And you have to look at that. You need to look at how are they treating themselves? How are they carrying themselves?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I know I got some beautiful women here on the panel this morning. Insecurities. I know y'all deal with
Yes.
some guys who have insecurity issues. When I say
Yes.
that, question your every move. Who are you
Yes.
talking to? Why he in your face?
Mm-hmm.
How do you cope with that also? Because insecurity is dangerous too. And we know we have a lot of individuals who have lost their lives due to their partner insecurity. So how do y'all cope with that as well?
Well, sometimes they can overcompensate their insecurity. Sometimes they come off very secure. Um, so you miss that as well. How and it's so hard, Furman, when they have that type of insecurity because they tend to isolate you from people. And when they're very insecure in that manner, it's very hard to have that stability in that relationship. I know I couldn't cope because I was constant monitored. Um, there were recorders put in the house.
Really?
Yes, put under pillows. Recorders in the car, or pop-ups that you're listening behind the door when I'm not knowing you're in there. So of course you how can I say this? You adapt to it because in your mind you love this person,
Yeah.
and you don't want this relationship to fail because of the investment. Hey, sorry, my son is in the background. I'm sorry. I know we on a TV show, y'all, and Avery, can you move out the way? I'm sorry, y'all. That's the life of being a mom, y'all.
I just say while we're on this, I think that one of the things that I have seen just in personal experience with dealing with somebody is that you never feel like you're adequate enough. It's a
Right.
constant making you feel insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely wanting to make you feel as though, you are always wrong. Like
Yes.
you could have it in black and white,
Mm-hmm.
and he could have wrote down the correct answer, but when it comes time to discussing it, no,
It's wrong.
yeah, it's wrong. And I think as women, because I do feel that we do invest a lot in these relationships, and we think, okay, that's, sometimes, especially just you know again, from personal experience, when you deal with having a very traumatic childhood,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't see those red flags because you think this is this confident person who you can feel secure with. This person's going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, and I think sometimes they prey on that vulnerable side of person.
Yes.
And so then once you're in, you're now wrapped into it to where you're like, is it love? Am I doing something wrong? What can I change? And then we have the typical, every female, bless us all, we can change him. We
Yes.
can change him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't seen that successful yet. So I'm going to go with, I don't think we're changing him.
No, they have to want to, and they have to know their behavior.
And that's the thing, is most of them won't admit to the fact that they are. And I agree, one of the viewers had said that we all have a little bit of narcissism in us. And I think that that is true. And like you said, there's different types. There's a difference between, being a toxic one and then having it's healthy. I've found myself in situations where I do think that I've come across that way somewhat, but I think it was more in defense mechanisms of trying not to put myself in a vulnerable situation.
Right.
And
Right.
so, but I think, when you're trying to determine what's healthy and what's not, is if your behaviors are at all, you know not if they're damaging somebody else's spirit and sucking the life and soul out of them, then you need to
Yes.
do some self-reflection.
Yes. Yes. And again, you don't know that you're being getting the life sucked out of you. You don't realize how drained that you become when you experience these type of people. And again, we tolerate it because, again, if you built a tolerance for toxicity, if you build a tolerance for this type of behavior, you will stay in it and you will live in it, and it feels okay. And again, like you said, you cannot change these people.
Mm-mm.
You and self-consciously you do feel that, okay, if I stay in this, it'll change, they will change, but they will not. I have even experienced an ex that come back to try to, because the narcissist always recycle exes, right? So they try to come back even if it's 20 years later. From my experience, they still act the same. they're still stuck in that child's mind. Wherever the trauma or wherever they were stuck at that age, this is how they display their actions. That's another sign that um you can look out for, that they have a childlike mentality, even how they handle situations.
That's it. But I said we're gonna get before we go off to deeper conversation and start to heat up, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and after this commercial break, we're gonna jump right back into our top discussion. And like I said, we are live streaming on Facebook, Twitter,
Mhm.
and YouTube. We want y'all to be involved. If you have questions, put a Q in the comment section. If you have a statement, put an S in the comment section, and we'd be glad to read your comments and your questions here on Walking This Way Impact Wars Podcast. We'll be right back with our guest, Coach Wade, along with myself and Desiree. We'll be right back at this commercial break.
Hi, my name is Delilah Bordeaux, and I'm the founder of Speakar Truth, a nonprofit for survivors of sexual assault. Join us April 8th, 2023 for I Survived From Trauma to Triumph. This time will be spent together sharing stories of triumph from survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, divorce, and sickness. So grab your girls and make sure y'all purchase your tickets at www.speakartruth.org. It's time for us to redefine the beauty that lies beneath our pain. See you there.
M. Green Enterprises, the home of Malira Green, your confidence coach. She is a licensed clinical social worker who serves as a therapist, clinical supervisor, master healer, and transformative speaker. Malira is fiercely committed to guiding individuals to become unstuck and motivated to confidently reach their goals while owning their God-given gifts. She serves as the bridge between your caterpillar and butterfly moment. If you are ready to transform, check out www.maliratransforms.com where she is
a once tight-knit family bond.
Damn it, Tito, didn't I tell you that I'm vacationing? I am retired, which means all prior duties have been relinquished.
You still the same. Wake up fussing. I just come over for a little while. I ain't trying to stay in this roach motel.
I still can't figure out how you would do that. Honey, you see, when the Lord created me, he created a mighty great sunbeam made in his image. And plus, Yoshi always rolling her damn eyes. One day, I got her good. I put a little bit of crazy on her eyelashes while she was asleep. And she couldn't roll her eyes for 3 days. Oh, that's the time when her eyes was real puffy. I remember when I saw her, I was like, girl, you looking just like your mama with all them bags. Oh, Chelsea, I told you about playing with me.
It's broken. When the battle of addiction is lost, resurfacing childhood
You
trauma.
need to get some help. I need to get some help? Really? You're the one that loses friends when you put too much liquor in your body. Okay, and you're the one who ruined your marriage because you're so traumatized and traumatizing me all my life.
And revealing family secrets.
I said before you broke it, I recently lost my best friend. My right hand, my mother.
Leaving one innocent soul demonized. You broke Ma's heart.
I really lost my whole family. But most importantly, I lost myself.
Crucified, the stage play, showing April 14th and 15th at the Slayton House in Columbia, Maryland.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Walking This Way's Impact Force Podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. I'm the CEO and founder of Walking This Way's Impact Force Podcast. We're broadcasting live from the DFW, that's Dallas Fort Worth, Texas, along with my co-host Desiree as well, and our featured guest, Dr. Wade, of course. And we're very excited to have y'all with us. We thank everybody for tuning in with us on this great Saturday morning. And most definitely, we're talking about narcissism. We're going to talk about the relationships of it. We've been talking about this relationship stuff. I know Desiree the other night was talking about this on the show also. The being open and being honest with each other and the communication part that takes place. When I mentioned earlier about addressing the elephant in the room.
Mhm.
And now, Keisha, we've become more wiser now compared to when we was growing up. And I say that because we focus more. We thought education was the key to keep us smart, but we was not knowledgeable to other things.
Right.
The because we don't think was taught was math, science, social studies, and all the other stuff, and we think that was it, but
Right.
not prepared for life, like the personality traits, um, the trauma that we have dealt with as children. Everything starts as a child. We talk about all this stuff, and a lot of this stuff is being addressed now. Is everybody doing it? No, everybody's not doing it. But you have individuals who have wised up, learn to love themselves, value themselves, but learn how to protect themselves. So now if anybody come in contact with, I want to take my time and get to know them and not put them in it. It's like a job. If you interview somebody for a job, they come in for the interview. You're not finna say you hired on the spot. No, you have a sit down with them. You want to see where they at, and then see if they're consistent. Then you go call them back for a second interview, just to see have anything changed from the first time we had a conversation.
Right.
And yeah, Furman, but I think, one of the things that I have found, even just with myself, with girlfriends, is that it's hard to identify those traits in the very beginning. You mistake those traits for love. Like, and Miss Wade, I hope that your child's not in the room, but, like with sex, that is such a manipulative tool that narcissistic person use. And I think especially for that vulnerable side, and it goes both ways, male and female. The narcissistic person is using sex as a manipulative tool.
Oh, yes.
And the vulnerable person is mistaking it for that desire, that love, but really it's all about trying to get that person right where that narcissistic person wants them to be.
Yes.
So it is, and generally, I will say, the sex is amazing when it comes to a narcissistic person,
right?
Until they are confronted with their issues, and that's when the other person starts to feel that insecurity, that self-doubt, and and one of the things I think with narcissistic people is that they hold the longest grudges.
Oh, yes.
We always joke about how women have a filing cabinet. We don't forget anything. Okay. We will pull out that filing cabinet. We find those, we can remember what day, time, and what the weather was like on a day that you've done something to us. Right. But if you're with the narcissistic person, it's the grudges that they're holding on to so that they can then again manipulate you and use that against you later on. Okay. So that's where, and then you feel like you have to change something. You feel like, okay, what do I need to do to make this person happy, to make this person love me, to see that this person trusts me? Narcissistic people, will isolate you from others. And that's all part of that manipulation. But when you're a female, and I say this, and I don't ever, Furman, I was defending men like crazy the other day. Okay. But I'm going to use this when it comes to women. Okay. For a vulnerable female, we mistaken that red flag for love. We mistaken that for, oh, he loves me. He wants just me, and sadly it's, the narcissistic person is usually going through a lot of anxiety and depression, which then falls on you. It's like that.
Yes.
It is like that weight that now you're carrying that burden as well. And as a female, as a Cancer female who is very motherly, I find it in that situation that, you want to help fix that person. You think, what can I do to get this person not to feel this way? So then you are holding on, you're staying in, you continue even when you know it's time to get out. But you do end up, with a lot of self-doubt. It makes it hard to be okay in another relationship. It's hard to move on. It's hard to go from a very unhealthy relationship like that and then actually be able to trust a good, healthy relationship.
Yes.
You
Let
have
me
to
ask you. Go ahead and finish. Let me ask you this too. What about, I know back in the day you had the fathers. You had the fathers in the home, and they were very protective of their baby girl, which is true because a man supposed to be protected, of course. Before you got married, you had to talk to the father. Remember back in the day, you had to talk to the father.
Right.
Because one, you need to know where this young man's at. First of all, a man gonna know, okay, I'm gonna sit, read him. I'm not my moved by his word. I'm gonna sit, read his body language and have a logical conversation with him. Before he releases her, he was not gonna I want to make sure if my daughter gonna be taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
if she's gonna be safe.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know that because I heard this preacher say this. He was talking to this guy on this video, and he said, "I need to know you're gonna be with my daughter for the long haul, or until something else come along."
Mm-hmm.
Because you have people who do that. They don't want to be if soon something else come up. Well, I don't want to be here no more. So I got to know if I have a daughter and whoever guy she get with, I want to know who he is. And I know we don't have that in this generation now, where the young girls, how can they look up to a? I didn't know what they didn't want to know what a man is. Not somebody who wants to manipulate them and get them in bed. I didn't know if she gets pregnant, he's still gonna be there by my side. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just up and leave.
I want to say something about that, Furman. So and this is just my journey. When individuals meet the parents, right? Meet the dad and get the approval. Now, with those type of relationships, the narcissistic abusive type relationships, that's also used as a manipulative tactic because there's parents that literally go along with that plan for that person. How many women has or men has met the person that they're the significant other or the person that they're dating? You really now it's in this day and age now, it's a tactic. It's not, you got to really just go in feeling things. Because I just know from my experience, in my mind, when I meet the dad or I meet the mom, oh, I'm in, this relationship is going to be great. It's going to, meet my mom, meet my dad. They give the blessing. Sometimes the mask is so covered up that the family don't even see it as well.
But I think we're going back to though, when you are truly with somebody who is a true narcissistic person,
right?
They know exactly how to woo not only you over, but your friends, your family, and it's all that manipulative side of them until you are so drawn into it that now it's hard to just say, wait a minute, this is not that same person. And then we start to then, we can't seem to get past what is, what's reality and what we want them to be. We're always now looking back to saying, but he was so loving and caring.
Right.
He was so gentle. He was sweet. He brought me flowers. He complimented me. He made me feel so good. Yes. That's exactly what they want you to do. That is exactly how they want you to feel. It's like a fish in a sea kind of thing. They want to catch you, reel you in. And then it's like they'll dangle you. Am I going to put you back in the water or, and let you be a healthy person, or I'm going to keep on, And so, but, going back to what you asked though, Furman, how many people these days are really bringing home their partner to meet the parents before getting involved? Before, we have so many people that are just loosely, let's hook up, and then they're in that relationship. Then I'll let you meet my parents. Versus, back, before we were definitely courting each other. We were getting to know each other. Now it's people are using sex so freely.
Yes.
That, introducing somebody to your parents is kind of like on the back burner. That's not, that's no longer the priority. And it's, just as we talked about the other night though, Furman, is how many of us are truly getting to know that person before we are so invested that we don't know what's good for us anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at something too, Desiree. Somebody said, General Shepherd, where he said, everybody give it away these days. That's true. Everybody giving it away these days. They give it up fast. I can't even believe an app like Tinder even exists. Yeah, they giving it up pretty fast. I ain't gonna lie, because you can invite somebody to your house. You can meet them online, invite them to your house. You having sex with them and don't know anything about them. They are giving away faster than they ever did before. So you gotta be careful out here too. That's another thing. Let's talk about the unprotected sex. I hear a lot of people, individuals, in their conversations, they say they give this woman or whoever have unprotected sex. They don't even know this person.
Right. But that's the
They
kind. Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Furman. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they'll tell you they don't like because they can. I don't use no condom because I can't feel nothing. But you don't know this individual. That's why That's why they get burnt, get the STDs, all
Mm-hmm.
these sex transmitted disease, and then they won't blame the woman. Oh, she a hoe. Why is
Right.
her fault? You the
Right.
one did it.
Right. And that's what gets me. It's so, it's just so backwards. Each person has their own accountability. Like, you're gonna blame me
Yeah, what
when
I'm
you could have
saying.
just told me, hey, like, hey, Keisha, this is not, I'm looking out for my safety. And then also the people pleasing. You have people that's been in abusive states, in abusive situations, and they like to people please. And that's how a lot of the unsafe sex come in, because they do say, oh, I don't want to use this, or I think it's better without it. I think they'll um, get the experience better. And that's when the people pleasing comes in, you know.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Cause we say women do get the short end of the stick on that. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I'm just some. I'm looking from. I'm not. I'm just looking from a male perspective because
Mhm.
uh, it's crazy out here.
It
Because
is.
matter of fact, before we get into it, I know Desiree, you shared the article with me on last night, and I want you to talk about the article that you had sent me because that was very uh.
Yeah. So I don't know if
Go
you have seen
ahead.
Wade, but just this past week that in Houston, a couple was having, um, for better lack of word, some rough sex, and he was
Yeah.
doing some choking, and
Mhm.
he ended up dying, and so now
Mhm.
he's in charged with manslaughter. And I had shared that article, with Furman last night, and I thought, I don't. I mean, I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to go. I'm wondering how this case is going to play out because that is definitely, and we talked about this on an earlier show, is that some people are definitely into that. Knowing when is too much, you
Mhm.
might be thing. But again, I think that it's also part of that. I mean, I, it's a manipulation thing, but it's also that for women, I would say that when it comes to being dominated like that sexually, again,
Mhm.
a lot of that is he wants me. A lot of that is that that mind game that we're playing with ourselves of saying he's going to take it because he loves it, right? He wants,
Right.
but then how far is too far?
Right. With as far as that's true. And again, that people pleasing comes in, and the way they think, the pleasure, And I did read that story, Desiree, and it was just so confusing to me, because I'm thinking to myself, what was he thinking? At some point you can tell when someone is not breathing or becoming unresponsive. That was very irresponsible.
But I'm wondering how this will play out in the sense of, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, okay? As
Yeah.
far as, saying, he was caught up in the moment. Maybe
Yeah,
I mean, how do you know? How do you not know? I mean,
that's true.
I mean, was she being, was, and, and I hope again, your child's not in the room,
He's not.
but if he was choking her from behind, could he see that she was having trouble from, breathing?
Yeah, that's
So
true. I didn't think about it that
you've got
way.
to, like, this is the risk that you play, you're playing with when you are, doing to have, and I'm not, you know, what happens in your bedroom happens in your bedroom. What it turns you on, that's between you and your partner.
Mhm.
But, I am curious to see how this is going to play out with the jury. I'm wanting to know what his, defense attorney is going to argue on this as far as, did he know? Did he not know?
Mhm.
I know a lot of friends that, have said, I've blacked out.
Yeah.
And, and they were completely fine. So, but what could have happened, now that we're seeing that in this article and on the news,
Mhm.
what if it's more than just a blackout next time?
Correct.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then you got another. It's a comment, it's a statement, a comment. I've had girls tell me they don't want me to use a condom, in my past. I'm celibate now. Why would they? That's the question. Why did they didn't want you to use one? That's what I want to know.
I think some do it because they want to. Hmm. They think it's a bond that's be. I think it's a mindset thing, and also
Yes.
individuals want to trap you. So
You
it can go
do
both ways.
because you got to think about the stature too of an individual. Because you do have people who do get pregnant on purpose, or you
Hmm.
got some guys who will eventually will get a female pregnant on purpose to trap her, of course.
Hmm. Or the feeling, some people, like I said, it's a mindset thing, it's a mental thing. um People think, oh, I can't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same, it feels like this, and so this is why I'd rather have this experience than to have it on. So I think it's just individualized why the thought process behind not being, in a safety, because truly, you know it's for marriage anyway. People take that context in the Bible, so they twist it. It was really, be fruitful and multiply. That's only for marriage, you know
So, and I would say that, from speaking to friends, young teens, a lot of them, that are saying, when it's a female saying, I don't want to use a condom, one, she thinks that it's showing her loyalty to that individual.
uh-huh
Whether that is saying, as in, I want to be as intimate and close to you. And that is a little bit more personable, not to just have a condom,
Correct.
right? But the
Correct.
other part of it is saying that, it's like saying, I'm trying to satisfy and please this person. And we do know that it obviously feels better without the condom. Now,
Mhm.
for me, as a mom of, sons, which definitely go ahead and say on here, happy birthday to my youngest one who's turning 21 this weekend. You know, I don't want to forget to say that, but I would tell my boys, growing up, I mean, sex is natural. You're going to have sex. Like, I
Mhm.
can't stop you from having sex if that's what you choose to do.
Correct.
However, I can tell you to be a responsible individual if you are going to choose to go to that extreme. Meaning, don't rely on the female to say, I'm on, contraceptives. You know, don't rely on this pull-out method here, okay? Like,
Right.
That
and
don't
if
work.
she says, I have a
No.
condom, if she says I have a condom, I want you to use your own condom. Women can be just as manipulative as men. They can poke holes in those condoms. Anything could happen, but you are only responsible for your own behavior. Now,
Mhm.
going back to, saying how on this getting pregnant and stuff, thank you for that. Going back to saying, for the female to get pregnant, some of them do it intentionally, but they might get the short end of the stick on that. However, I think that that's another thing that we need to acknowledge is that women should respect themselves enough to know that if they do not want to be in that position, then
Mhm.
you're practicing safe sex, or you're just not having sex. But sadly, they think they need to go ahead and give in, even if it's against their better judgment,
Mhm.
and then ends up, if they end up pregnant, then it's like some people want to say, well, that female was the victim. She actually knew. She knew the consequences of having unprotected sex.
Mhm.
And so I think that we need to be accountable for our own actions as females as well. But it goes both ways. Like I said, I tell my sons, don't trust the female. You
Right.
are only responsible for what you can control, and you can control providing your own condoms.
Right.
And I think, and I want to, and I agree with that, Desiree. And we got to learn our worth. In my journey, I had to experience. And sometimes God takes you through this interactive field that you have to learn that way.
Mm-hmm.
Even having the absent father in the home, or even having the father in the home and he wasn't an example. This is when you have to grow closer to yourself and God, so that you can learn these things. Unfortunately, some individuals, and I won't even say unfortunately, because it was a blessing for me that when I went through these interactive fields of life with God, this is how I learned most of my, love for me. And it's loving you and knowing who you are as an individual, to know that you're not going to stand for hey, this is my body. This is my temple. I have to think about, you know, unplanned pregnancy, sexual transmitted diseases, or even developing a soul tie, an unhealthy soul tie, a trauma bond. You know, do I want to add another person to my life in that spiritually by having sex with them? You have to be, this is a daily practice, a daily practice for yourself. And it's not easy. I tell individuals when I coach them, get ready to get in the mud, get ready to get dirty, because you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have to get washed and you're going to get clean one day. And then the next minute you're dirty again.
That's it.
It's a process.
It is a process, and I want to time in this on this one too, Keisha as well, and Desiree. He
Mhm.
said marriage is a covenant between the couple and the father.
Yes.
People totally missed the mark on that. And I'm gonna ask you this too: are they getting marriage mixed up with the wedding? Because some people they get excited about the wedding, the ceremony, but when it comes to the marriage,
Mhm.
they don't be prepared for that. And I'm gonna say this: 'cause I heard the story years ago where this pastor was coupling these people that got married, and see what happened. The guy he didn't see everything through. The preacher wanted him to see the whole big picture.
Mhm.
Maybe they about the scripture when Christ said, "Have you sit down and consider the cost
Mhm.
before you start building? Have you really sit down and consider the cost?" And that's something I know I've been through that before too. I have not sat down and I did not consider the cost of what I was entering into because I
Mhm.
was married before myself. I've been divorced in 2017, and that was
Mhm.
from lack of my understanding, but they gained more experience with it now. Okay, he told this guy before you do all that, have you thought about this, and that, and the other? His response was, you see how fine she is.
Mhm.
So the preacher tried to get him again. Have you, before you take that step, have you thought about this, that, and the other? You see how fine she is? So he went ahead, married the girl, ended up filing for the divorce. But he was trying to get him to see before you sit down and have you considered the cost on this, just think about it, what you're entering in.
And
And know the go
mhm.
ahead.
Go ahead, Furman. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, 'cause I know the Bible said the multitude of counseling, there's safety. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of times we don't want to listen to that safety because we get in our flesh. And we
Mhm.
know the flesh, what Paul said, no good thing come out the flesh, right?
Right.
So when we enter into this thing, and then when we enter into it, like, what would have happened if I only would have listened? Because sometimes I think about that to myself. If I would have sit back and listen
Mhm.
to the wise counsel before I made the decisions, and then you regret it, but by God's grace and mercy, you say, you know what? I learned from it. I just don't want to put myself in the situation again. Now, some people do put themselves in the situation. Some people don't learn. But
Mhm.
I'm talking about the people who have learned. Say, you know what? I'm not going to put myself in this situation no more.
Right. And I think because of the carnal mind of thinking, people don't know exactly what marriage truly means. They individuals, I'm divorced as well, and as I look back on it, I didn't really realize what marriage really was, what it entails, and what it meant. You know, and you look at it through religion eyes versus the
Right.
spiritual eyes. Why are you getting married? Why is marriage put in place? Why did God set marriage up for man and woman? To do what? To help meet each other's purpose. And people
Right.
don't understand that. And that's one reason why.
Because they got it mixed up. Like you said, they got it mixed up, And I know Paul and people took that out of content, and I know they did, and they do it for Paul said best to marry than to burn, and that's what we got going to now. They got
Mm-hmm.
into it. Well, the Bible said best to marry than to burn. Okay, so
Right.
now you just basing
Mm-hmm.
your marriage on
Mm-hmm.
sex,
Uh-huh.
on what 15 minutes, wherever you want, how low you go,
Yeah.
and then okay, let's just be real and be blunt with it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can say anything when they want sex.
Yes.
Oh, I love you. Oh, it's good. Who this is. I'm tearing that thing up. You say anything while you in the mood, but then when the reality set in, what you got in common? Anybody say anything good when sex going on?
Yeah, that's the religion mindset.
I want to know how you're going to be whenever it's rough, whenever you know you're when we're sick, whenever we can't pay the utility bills, you know, when there's a death in the family. You know, those are the things that we're not going through those lows to know how we can handle a good healthy relationship. It's all about that high. It's that gratification. It's that here and now. We're caught up in the moment. You know, and off what you said earlier, you know, about people learning their lesson. I feel attacked. Okay. So, so I'm going to defend myself for a minute here, Furman, on this one. Okay.
Go ahead.
You know, unfortunately, it's because a lot of times we're seeing that it's that rebound to try to say that I am enough, that rebound of saying that it wasn't my fault. So again, you're not thinking clearly of that next relationship. When somebody has damaged you so badly or hurt you, broke that heart, and you're thinking, you know, what could I have done different? You're not giving yourself time to heal. You're not realizing that you can sit at a table and eat alone. You think, I've been in this relationship for so long. I don't know what life is like being single again. So the first, you know, opposite sex that pays attention to you, you're like, well, that ex didn't see that about me, but this one does. And so then immediately you're getting yourself involved in something too fast because you're thinking that's going to repair that broken heart, when really it's that time that you can take to yourself to say, you know, what was I to learn out of that? You know, and I just had this conversation with a girlfriend last night, you know, and I told her, I said, you know, I feel like in the end, you know, either you can pray about things and it's either that God's going to, you know, let the healing happen to where if it means reconnecting, it's reconnecting. If it's not, then what lesson do I need to learn out of that? What type of self-respect do I need to have? What is it that I truly deserve? And, you know, I believe everything does happen for a reason. And sometimes that lesson is a little hard on us, but that lesson, you know, what did we say, you know, the other day with Anthony Amos, you know, you don't know what true, you don't know what those rewards are until you've had to go through a few of the, you know, downfalls. If you're not falling, you really don't know what it feels like to pick yourself back up.
Right.
And so I just truly believe that, you know, I never want to say, you know, never again to anything in life. Okay. I just know that what am I going to bring to the table? What am I going to accept the next time? What will I not accept? You know, and that's something that we're not taking the time to heal in between relationships. We're not taking the time to see that the truth is a lot of relationships aren't ending just because of one person. There's always going to be some kind of self-growth. And that doesn't mean that it has to be negative. That self-growth can be that you need to respect yourself more.
Right.
Most definitely. And you know what, Desiree, you brought up something too. You open up a can of worms. I almost said I opened up a can of worms because you mentioned something about the love. No, because you brought up the interesting stuff. You opened up a can of worms there because you said something there about the rough times. Okay, and I'm gonna say that too because you're gonna go through things. You're gonna have trials and tribulations, true enough.
Right.
But it's how we handle those trials and tribulations. And a lot of people they base it off the feel. Okay, think about it. You're gonna get older. Your hair gonna turn gray.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So things gonna change. So just because they start graying out, or you gonna up and leave, or let's say, God forbid, an incident happened, and you can find into a wheelchair. Is you gonna up and leave that person? And that's kind of stuff we don't think about. Or you just, well, I ain't signing for all this. I just want to add on what you were saying, Desiree, because you brought an interesting point when you said that. Because we don't think like that.
And people don't get enough knowledge either. When it comes to relationships, and you know, like Desiree said, you have to step back after that marriage or that because you have to grieve. You have to grieve properly when you come out of a relationship with someone.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
A day or two.
Don't be
And
a rebound.
then, yeah, and your mindset is, you know, move on to the next. But you really, truly have to move on to yourself. And you have to learn how to love you. And you have to start feeding yourself. You know, a lot of people say, oh, well, I need to get my Bible out. Yes, you do have to get your Bible out, but you got to also use other tools and resources. Go to conferences, go to relationship conferences, get a mentor, get a couple, and they can be your mentor. Relationship type self-help books. Hire you a coach, a love coach, a self-healing coach. You have to invest in yourself during that time of grieving so that you can be equipped to know the next relationship that you're in, how to handle it accordingly. And this is a lot of knowledge missing. They don't have the knowledge. They're not trying to get the knowledge.
And I want to ask y'all ladies this too. Have you ever been compared? Have they ever compared you to their ex?
I've had one too.
Compared to the ex?
You hear a lot of people. You hear a lot of guys probably say. Some guys say, "Man, my ex used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
My ex did me like this. I
Mm-hmm.
hope you don't do what my ex did." You have some people who had that bleeding
Mentality.
going on.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't say it, but their actions show it.
Or would you cheat on me? My ex cheated on me. Would you cheat on? Because they put, you know what I'm saying? Oh, my ex cheated on me. Would you cheat on me too? Because my ex did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but okay. So remember our conversation, a couple of nights back, about communication.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing, we need to have healthy communication. There's nothing wrong with talking about how you might have been heartbroken from your ex or what damage. You actually need to be open and upfront and honest about that. That's part of those expectations. And what we say to the night, expectations. Okay. So you do very open on that communication. It's about how you say it. When you're automatically saying, my ex cheated on me, are you going to cheat on me too? You're putting that negativity out there. First of all, you need to just stand straight up, be honest and say, I was cheated on. That is why that happened. And I will not be in a relationship where I will be cheated on again.
Boundaries.
Put it out there without saying, are you? Don't put that self-doubt in your mind, in their mind, in the relationship. So we're not doing that healthy communication.
Correct.
And no
handcuff. Or they don't know how.
And then don't handcuff nobody either. When I say handcuff, they feel like you in a relationship. I don't say feel. They say this too. That if you're in a relationship, they should get rid of their social media accounts and all this other stuff. I don't believe in handcuffing nobody. When I say handcuff, you still have to have your life outside the relationship. I'm just use this. If you want to go to a concert with friends and we are together, and you say, "Hey, Furman, I'm going to concert with friends," I'm gonna tell you have a good time. I'm not finna say how long you gonna be gone, who you going with. I'm not that. Why?
Right, but
you still gotta have that freedom. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what, Furman? The biggest mistake that I've learned throughout me getting back into the dating scene, do not. I'm gonna tell you now, and people may disagree with me. I'm okay with that. Do not follow this person on social media, because I'm gonna tell you why. Especially if they are a public figure type individual, or maybe they are just say a fitness trainer, especially if they're well known, and women are going to gravitate toward them, especially if they are a godly man. Women see that characteristic in him. He knows how to handle that, but can you handle those comments? Because what if he doesn't respond like you want him to under that comment, and then there you go with the calling in, well, why did you say it this way? Well, why you did? I advise in the beginning of their relationship, do not follow each other on social media. You need to really play that. That's just me.
See, and here's where I'm going to be the devil's advocate again. Okay, it's all about self-maturity. This is also about having enough confidence in yourself, and I don't arrogant confidence. I mean that security in the relationship. Because here's the deal. You can have social media, and it doesn't matter if you say you're married. It doesn't matter if you say we're engaged, we're dating, and okay, you're going to have those people that are always going to try to come in and interfere. Good, okay. It is not. It wouldn't matter if I posted a picture. We're going to go unrealistically, because we would never do this. If I posted and I got 1,000 likes on it, and I got all these guys trying to feed my ego. no reason for my partner to be jealous or insecure about that unless I am reacting to it. It is all about how your partner is reacting. If you're feeding into social media, if you thrive off of the other compliments instead of the compliments that your partner is giving you, that's when it's unhealthy.
Right.
You could, I can promise you, and I don't say this in a cocky way by any means, my messenger will go off and just don't respond to that. I don't have to say thank you when a guy pays a compliment. I don't have to, I might be thinking in my head, but then you're opening that door for that conversation. You're also opening that door for your partner to start to doubt you. Well, why aren't you two messaging each other? I don't sit there and feel like I need to thank everybody, heart everything when somebody wants to pay a compliment. And the truth is, if you actually look at a lot of social media, the people that are actually liking and hearting things don't have the best intentions.
Correct.
I mean, that's just the truth of it. You see more people wanting to talk about what's messy instead of actually appreciating all the good stuff. How many times do you see where we're posting things about what's happening that's negative versus posting the things that are positive? A lot of people are on that social media and they're looking for those cracks in a relationship. They're looking to see what they can gossip about. It's all about the maturity of the individual on how they respond to it. Again, I will 100% say you cannot be accountable for anybody else but yourself. And that's something that we are not seeing enough of. We want to blame somebody else, or we're going to play victim.
Right.
Right from wrong. And if you have good morals and values, you will not.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there
you go. Yeah. And that's when it comes to insecurity. Yeah.
You back. You go ahead, finish.
It is insecurity. It's an insecurity thing. But, and let's go on this too. I think jealousy, let's talk about this for a minute. There is a healthy jealousy in my opinion. Now, if somebody agree with me, I'm all for it. There is a healthy jealousy. Sometimes we need that healthy jealousy. But then there's that unhealthy jealousy.
Correct.
That unhealthy jealousy can be a flattering thing at times, and that's usually when you're in a toxic relationship that you think it's flattery kind of thing. But the truth of the matter is that there's nothing wrong. Like, I'm flattered if somebody thinks, and I'm not in a relationship, so I'm just saying in my past, I would be flattered if girls, honest to God, were coming up and wanting to hit on him. I knew who he was coming home to. I was coming home to. Somebody else might light that fire and boost his little ego, but I knew who he was coming home to.
After you done lit it.
So you lit it, baby, but I'm the one who kept it going. So and that's about a good self-confidence thing. And now Furman's going to go off on me here in a minute because this is contradicting to, I'm a very, I can be very insecure about a lot of things. My heart is not one of those things that I'm insecure about. I know my intention. I know where my heart is. Now, when it comes to weight, we'll have a whole another conversation on that one. But as what my morals and values are, and I think a lot of that came from, there was a lot of that past childhood trauma that I had to learn to overcome. And one of the things I had to say to myself is that I am enough. I don't want to look like every other woman. I don't want to be a size 2, blonde hair, blue eyes. What would make me stand out any different than all those other women that are catching these other guys' eyes? I want to be known that, you find what features I carry to be attractive to you. I want to know that that's what turns you on, not having some, Stepford wives looking kind of, image. But, and the biggest thing that I had to learn to tell myself is I kind of look at it like if you go to a grocery. We're so quick, if you see a bunch of canned goods at the grocery store, and you see one that's, that's got some dents in it, or the box of the say a box of stuffing has, it's all crumbled in, or say even on toothpaste, or say the box is open, but the product hasn't been touched. A lot of times you skip over that product, right? You just want to get the one that has the good, fresh label on it. You want to get the one that doesn't look like it's damaged. But at the end of the day, those products could have come on the same exact pallet, stocked at the same exact time, same expiration date. But what's inside of that is what I'm just as good as the thing that has that perfect seal. I'm just as good as the box that, hasn't been opened yet. And it's about believing that in myself instead of letting somebody else decide what my worth is. And
But
so go ahead, Furman.
no, you're good. Cause I'm just gonna add on what you're saying because you brought the interest point. Go ahead and finish. I agree with you.
No, I was just saying, we stop and think that these scars that we carry, we think that this extra weight that we carry, is something that is not, that makes us not worthy. And that's so not true. It's
Right.
what's inside that truly matters. And we're forgetting that. We're so superficial. We are, looking at the outside instead of seeing what's genuinely on the inside. And so I think that also comes with maturity. That also comes with, what do you want in a relationship? Do you want somebody who just looks perfect outside, or do you want somebody who on the inside is going to be that person that can be there and support you on those highs and lows?
Most definitely. And I want to say that because Desiree, it's all about the individual. It's all about how you look. And most importantly, it's just how your partner value. Because I want to agree with what you were saying, Desiree, because it's how that individual looks to you. And that's what people have to realize. You're not doing it for everybody else. But I like this. I like how my partner look. I like how my partner smell. I like how my partner walk. That's attractive to me. And that's what people forget. Like, they realize you don't do it for everybody else. But I just want to agree with you saying, Desiree. It should be this is okay. Okay. My partner likes my weight. Okay, that's something for him to like. That's something he like, and that's the most important thing. Is what keeps us attracted to each other. That's what I'm gonna say. That's the
Right.
most important thing. It should be me and you against the world, not me, the world, and you. Should
Right.
have that me and you against the world mentality. That's what I
Mhm.
want to say. But I agree with you were saying, Desiree. You brought up the interesting point.
Looking for those things when we're looking for a partner. We and and that's what's so sad, and that's why you're seeing a lot of relationships failing. We're not, like you had said, whenever about getting married, or that, are we just, is it just about marriage, or is it
Mhm.
about what true marriage means?
Right. Correct.
We're not looking for what is a true partner, or what looks good right now for me.
Right.
Right. And stop trying to fill a void. We have so many voids that individuals are trying to fill. And we think marriage is the key to that, the answer
Nah.
to that. But it's not. If you're using marriage as a cover, you're using marriage as a safe haven, and you just have to be with someone, you're in it for the wrong reason.
You know what? You brought that up too. Let's talk about this. It may sound controversial, it may not sound controversial or nothing. Let's talk about individual who may be attracted to the same sex.
Mm-hmm.
What I said it is, he could be married to you,
Mm-hmm.
but behind closed doors, he messing around with the same sex. Now
Mm-hmm.
this stuff goes on every day too.
That happened to me.
And the woman don't have no knowledge that, hey, I didn't know he was down low or he was gay, homosexual, whatever. But now
Mm-hmm.
her life is in danger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I feel, and then some guys feel like, well, if I marry her, that's gonna fix. It's not gonna fix everything because let's say you marry this woman, but you
Mm-hmm.
still attracted to other guys. How you? That's not fair.
No, it's not fair. And that happened to me one time. And that other person, once they find out, it's up to them to stay. Be honestly, I wouldn't stay because it's very unhealthy. Because you don't know the guy that they're downloading with, how many they're downloading with the person outside of them. And again, I'm glad you said that, Fern. If you are getting married to a woman to cover up your sexuality, you're selfish. You're
I agree.
very
I
selfish.
agree. I agree 1,000% because it's not fair.
No, it's not. And this person invests their emotions in you, their time in you. They invest all of this into you, and you know that you're not fully in this um consciously and in love. You're it's absolutely selfish.
Yeah, because you want to protect yourself, on
Mm-hmm.
both ends. Because we, like I mentioned earlier, we go into these things blind,
Mm-hmm.
and then Because I'm asking you, I know back in the day, you used to have to take a blood test before you got married. They still do that?
I listen. I have a Arabic friend, and he lives here now, and he says, even the all of them that live here, they said they are not allowed to be in a relationship with somebody until they've had the other person tested.
They need to because you don't know if they got it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you had to,
I
cause I
agree.
think, yeah, because before you got married, you had to take a blood test.
You sure
And that
did.
was to see, make sure you had no AIDS, HIV, any sexually transmitted diseases that need to
Hmm.
be implemented.
Yes, I agree. And don't trust, and I don't trust someone to go off alone and get that test and say, oh, well, let me show you my results, because they can easily get someone to encrypt them or anything. So no, I want to go with you, and we're going to get our results together.
Yeah, that
If
needs to be.
you,
I know they
yeah,
may. I know we don't. People they may be fun, comfortable with some fun for some people, but no. As we come on, we're adults. We're mature.
yeah,
There's no judgmental John here.
right.
We have to be open and honest, like we did talking about the other night. It's
Hmm.
communication. Let's just be like, okay, first of all, we want to make it comfortable. Even though we may have an uncomfortable conversation, we
Hmm.
still want to make it comfortable between each other. That we're open with each other. And not only that, don't go back and tell your business either. Because when the interviews
Right.
go find into each other, that's
Hmm.
between y'all. That
That's
should be
true.
in y'all little box, locked away, not going out and say, he told me this, she told me that. Now she ain't gonna trust you no more. Or y'all don't
Right.
even trust each other, you don't want to be with each other no more. But just have these
Here,
healthy conversations. Go ahead.
It's true.
after the other night when we had that conversation, I was thinking, here's the problem. We're not investing more in being partners as much as we are as community partners. When I say
Hmm.
community partners, I mean telling your business on the streets. I mean, if you've ever pulled up social media and you see where somebody's been scorned, it's like they are airing out every bit of dirty laundry. First of
Uh-huh.
all, if you really want to be with this person, airing out your dirty laundry is not going to fix that relationship.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
And so, and then it's like, some people get tired of hearing all that laundry. Some people are sitting back saying, we warned you. Some people are saying, well, this is the 10th time. But it's not about the community knowing what's going on. It is about communicating with your partner. So,
Right.
first, I'm glad that you brought back up that conversation today, because we hung up, I was like, we're so worried about community partners. We're so worried about putting every single thing on social media. I
Hmm.
can I can be guilty of it. I look at one thing about me is I can admit my flaws. Okay. I mean, I don't think my exes would say that, but so listen, I like to say that they think that I'm the problem, but considering they keep coming back, no, I'm not the problem. But here's the thing on it. I'm kidding, exes. If you're watching, I'm just kidding. Love y'all. So I think that it is so true that we will put out there everywhere we're at, every step we make. And I mean, I'm guilty. I will post things that I cook for dinner, and I know people are like, why is she posting everything she's eating? But we sadly live in a world where it's a community relationship versus
Hmm.
you know working on what's right in front of you, working on the relationship that should matter. That relationship
Yes.
should be your relationship with God and your relationship with the person that you're laying your head beside every night.
Oh, I'm so
Right.
But
glad y'all talking about this. I'm sorry.
Nah, you get. Hey, cause I want to throw this out here too, and throw it out there. I know y'all talk. Some who bitches somebody healthy jealous. Is that what you Desiree said? Somebody healthy jealous. It just want to be cocky with it. Is she okay? You know you a good man. I'm saying I tell you. Okay, they see a good man. They see the characteristics of a good man. Other women would be envious of that because they say, man, the way he carry himself.
Hmm.
I know she getting that. I envy her so bad. I want to be in that position
Hmm.
because there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He said, okay, carry herself. A woman like a man that's confident. So the healthy jealousy part, I understand that because they go like, wow, I wish I was in her position. Cause she got that good man. He doing all this stuff and how he treats her. And I know she getting that business every night. When I say I ain't just talking about in one aspect, but the whole thing. And then you mentioned something about social media. Fellas or anybody, ladies, whatever. Them just pictures. They don't have the real thing.
Hmm. True.
And it's a real thing because they don't have you. That they can actually touch you and hug you and kiss on you. They don't have that. But I'm like, don't get mad because they like the picture, put a heart by that picture. You have the real thing.
Right. But people do have insecurities, and that's, I always say everything is a prompting. Maybe that's a prompting that there's something that you're going to work on, because everyone has something that they have to work on. And maybe just that's your teacher right there, that picture, that relationship, because each relationship you go in is a growth, right? It's a growth, and it showed you things that you need to work on. I truly believe that. And maybe just with that relationship right there, is showing you, hey, this is something I need to work on. I need to get better.
So in other words, they did get some coaching, they get some mentoring, they get some help before they
Yes,
enter a relationship. Yeah.
correct.
Go ahead,
And
Desiree.
I'm going to go back to saying that, that it's not necessarily, I said about posting things and not needing that attention. I'm going to say that may not always necessarily be true. If I'm going to the gym and I'm losing weight, it's not. So here's the difference. Okay. There's that attention of saying, I'm proud of myself. I want
Right,
to show.
yeah.
And then there's that attention of, I need the compliments of the attention.
Right.
And you do need the compliments, because that's what's making you feel like, yes, this hard work is paying off, and somebody else can also see that.
Right.
Or is it the compliments of saying, now I'm looking attractive for somebody else? This is where it's all about the intentions behind what you're posting.
Correct.
And but again, if I'm posting something that is offensive, or that maybe my partner is taking in a insecure way, communicate that with me without turning into full on like rage and jealousy and accusations. There's nothing worse for me. And and this is just coming from the ending of a previous marriages, is that don't, like, if you're going to accuse me all the time of being unfaithful, you really, and when this woman's really being faithful, I can promise you, in the back of her mind, she's probably thinking, I might as well go ahead and be unfaithful, because I'm being accused of it every day. Because no matter what I do, you can have yes, my phone, my car, you're driving by my place of employment, and you're still accusing me of being unfaithful. Eventually, all you're doing is putting that toxicity into her head of saying, if I'm going to be accused of it every day, then why the hell do I not just do it?
Right.
Okay. Now, the difference of that is, and I say this in having gone through that with, a very long marriage, is that I respected myself enough to say that, no, I'm not going to go outside of my vows. No, I'm not going to disrespect myself, regardless of what he's saying. Because at the end of the day, when this marriage dissolves, I want to know that he has no truth to stand on by those accusations that he's saying. Because at the end of the day, I can honestly say I stayed true to that commitment, to that person, my, vows to the Lord. But at the end of the day, you look like a fool. But that's the difference too. We have those that can't stand that pressure of those accusations. So what do? They go out and they cheat.
Right.
We need to learn to respect ourselves. Okay. We need, I'm going to have to look it up here in just a second. And that whenever you guys are talking, and tell you, my son had given me, my oldest son, had said to me, and it was some kind of quote, maybe Furman, you could look it up on saying this, but it's about a lock and a key, or Miss Wade, you might even know. And I don't know, Miss Wade, I guess your camera might be off.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So, but it was about a lock and a key. And my son had said, Mom, there's a difference between, something about being a master key and unlocking everything. Do y'all know what quote it is that I'm talking about? It's about when he told me, it was such, like, I was like, how does my 22-year-old son get so, deep that I don't know things? But he's talking about not everybody wants that key that can unlock everything. So they don't want you to be something that everybody can unlock. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. That makes sense. Being community, being that community person that you belongs to everyone. I need you to be that one key, maybe that special
Yes,
I
it's
don't have to be shared with everyone, can like everything.
I'm gonna have to if Furman, if you don't find it, don't think I won't be messaging my son here in a minute, because I'm telling
Go ahead.
you,
Let me see.
son, like when he said that too, and then just, recently I was talking to my sons are my best friends. They are absolutely amazing, and probably what keeps me grounded. But when I was talking to my son about a relationship, my son said, iron should sharpen iron. And I think
Right.
that's something else that we need to start remembering. If your individual person that person that you're choosing to be with is not um giving you that support that you need, you should probably listen to that gut instinct that this is more, damaging than it is beneficial,
Right.
and stop thinking that we could fix it. Did y'all find this lock and key thing? Because if not, I promise you I'm going to look this up.
Well, you probably,
I'm
I'm just trying,
trying.
but go ahead and look it up while we finish this conversation. I also then want to talk about this too, and I know Gigi had brought this up while we are together, why marriage and stuff like that. Man, first of all, our relationship should be good. Our relationship should be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We together. First of all, we supposed to be a team. No, I ain't gonna say we supposed. We will be a team.
Mm-hmm.
We represent each other. We shouldn't be arguing. We shouldn't be bickering and fighting. We shouldn't be trying to outdo each other. We should both be working together. We represent each other. So you with someone, you should supposed to be enjoying each other. Why
Right.
gotta be World War III? Why we gotta be enemies? Why we just and I hear people out there, well, people argue and all this other stuff, man. Bump that. I'm with you because I want to be with you.
Right.
I'm with you because this is where I want to be at, and we're gonna make the best out of it. That's just me. I know
I
And I
everybody think different. That's just me, but
and I
and
need
I
okay, go ahead, Desiree.
Oh, I was going to say I had found it.
go ahead.
So what it had said on here was, so a key that can open many locks is called a master key, but a lock that can be open, um, but a lock that can be opened by many keys is a shitty lock.
Mm.
So
Send that to me.
When my son had, was talking to me about this, and we were talking about how hard it is for, women, I love debating with my son. Okay. He's generally right, but I still like to try to debate it with him. But he was saying how hard it is for men in the dating world of finding these women. Like, he's like, Mom, girls can go out and get any man. Like, you guys can go hook up with anybody. Guys are always gonna, you can find so many men out there. And I'm like, no, that's not true. And he's like, it's hard for us to find these good women. And so then we started talking about, being easy and how we are just not very mindful of our bodies when we're out there. And so then he's the one who came up with that. And so I'm going to read it again without trying to stutter here. He says, a key that can open many locks is called a master key, but a lock that can be opened by many keys is just a shitty lock.
Wow.
And so I was going home and I was thinking about it, and I was like, he is so right. Like, you don't want to be that shitty lock that can be opened by anybody, right?
Right.
And so I just thought that was such a good, little thing to share right there with y'all. So
I like that because I'm over here digesting it and trying to pick it apart because it's just yes. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you.
And that goes to I got out of it. It just goes back to your worth, and it goes back to your value.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
just like, and I know we use a lot of terms loosely too. We put every time we put a king, we put a queen on these individuals so quite fast.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to take the time before learning. Okay, that seat that's next to you should be reserved for that
Mm-hmm.
one special person. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we get so eager, we get impatient, and the first person come along, we want to put them right next to that seat next to us,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not meant to be in that seat.
Correct.
So we become impatient instead of just being patient. The first come along, I'm going to put them right next to the seat, and then it's not meant for them. It takes time.
Right. And I think it's individualized because with me being a relationship coach, I go through many stories with people and journeys with people, and I research a lot. I read a lot. It is individualized. I just truly believe that, some people can meet within 6 months and get married.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to be able to have that discernment to
Right.
know when this is the purpose that this person is the person to help me meet this purpose.
And I'm asking you this too. What about leading with your wallet?
That's
Because
another thing.
some people
Ooh,
throw their income out there so bad.
let me tell
Well,
you.
I make 6 figures and I drive in a Rolls Royce and I'm about to get ready to take this lavish trip to Paris this weekend and I could fly you out this weekend and I will pay your bills. I'll make 6 figures, of course. And I could buy any car you want to drive. I could take you shopping at the latest stores and stuff.
Don't mean nothing, does not mean anything. I tell women all the time, men too, but women, we have to not let that be the main reason why we pick a guy. Because I've dated 6 figure, 7 figure men, and they're worse than a man working at McDonald's. A guy that's making $10 an hour, if he knows how to budget, he can take you to Dubai because he has that financial mentality on how to budget. You have most guys that lead with the wallet and spend with the wallet, and you can believe that he has several others that he has to maintain. In actuality, he's broke.
Lead with that wallet. Don't lead with that wallet.
Please don't.
And that's what, and that's insecurities too,
Mm-hmm.
because they
Absolutely.
go back to not believing in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
confidence, and judging her because they can look at y'all
Mm-hmm.
and sweep it down. Oh, I gotta have this. I gotta have that.
Right.
But it is how your confidence, how you talk, how you
Mm-hmm.
interact.
Mm-hmm.
And stop getting off social media. And then another thing, I'm gonna say this too. They put themselves in these situations. They get so caught up in the Instagram model and
Mm-hmm.
all these, and they hide and they insecure themselves.
Oh yeah.
They hide behind all that makeup and all
Oh
that
yeah.
hair and the stuff. They got this,
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but they
So,
was still. Go ahead.
so I was just gonna say, which in Miss Way you'll know by me, I keep it real.
Yeah.
I'm a closure person. I try very mindfully not to mention names. I'm sure viewers were watching that know me, probably the things that I say, right? But so, like, so a, a very well known NFL player's father had been, and I'll say, there was definitely some, banter back and forth, right? Some get a little, stuff going on here, but
Mm-hmm.
when it came down to it in a sexual way,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't give out those cookies for free. Okay. So, and this people had said, any other girl would just jump on this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, that's where you got me mistaken. I'm not just any.
Thank you.
Okay.
You better say that.
And if just any girls jumping on that, where are those girls? Because obviously they're in it for the wrong intention. So that should have been something to learn. Okay. They were in it because of what you had to offer. And so needless to say that ended in a very not friendly way. But it's so nice to be in a position that I can say to myself that, I respect myself enough that I have control over who I choose to give that cookie to. And it doesn't mean what money you have. Okay. If you want to keep getting those off-brand Oreos instead of the double stuffed one, by all means go ahead, okay? But I promise you this double stuffed one is worth it. And if that's me, all that said to me is that's an insecurity within yourself. You think that you have to use your financial status as your key weapon, thinking that you're going to get a good woman. Okay. True. And so that whole leading with a wallet thing is mind blowing. Now, do not mistaken that I know everybody, man and woman. Okay. We want to know that whatever partner we're going to be with can also provide and bring to the table. We want that financial stability, that I'm not paying all the bills. You're not paying all the bills. Well, I mean, some like for somebody else to pay all the bills, but a good relationship, it's unless you've communicated prior and this was the agreement, okay? It is nice to have that double income, but that Cookie Monster referring to that individual as the cookie. But that's not, but that's not everything to me. I was in a long, term relationship with somebody who, unfortunately was in a situation that he was left where he could not work anymore.
Right.
And I chose and accepted that person knowing that I was going to be the breadwinner. And and he was very open from the very, it was obvious. So he was definitely, he was internally decapitated. So, from a motorcycle accident.
Oh, wow.
But so, you've got a metal rod holding your head on some plates, you've got metal in your body and stuff. And, there's days where nerves are not firing and you can't get up and walk. And so I'm going to have to pick you up off the ground. I loved that person for the way that person made me feel as a woman, as a partner. I understood going into that relationship because of that open communication that you would not be able to bring more to the table than just your Social Security disability. Okay. Right. And I didn't see that. I didn't see that disability when I was with that person. It wasn't like, it was like, I didn't feel like I was having to take care of this individual financially or physically. I knew that was my partner. And guess what? If those roles were reversed and I happened to, so for instance, when I was going through my chemo, that was horrible for me. Would I want somebody to sit there and say, I'm not going to be with you anymore because your hair's falling out, because you can't even let me lay covers on top of you because your body's in so much pain? But sadly, and unfortunately for him, there was so much trauma from the past because I was not with him at the time of the accident. He actually had a different girlfriend. While he was in a coma, she was out messing around with one of his best friends.
What?
And so, and here they were in this long-term relationship, had been residing together. And then because he was told he would never walk again. And so now all of a sudden, from this guy who is extremely built, attractive, active, to I don't know if he's gonna walk in, immediately she's like, I'm bouncing. And so I think that you need to find who money's not going to solve all problems. And the truth is, I think the more problems we get.
It is. I believe that.
And I also want to talk about, go ahead.
Go ahead, Furman.
Yeah, I want to do a boomerang effect. You mentioned we were talking about jealousy earlier, right? We want the jealousy aspect. Okay, let's talk about the work that we do. I know I'm in the podcast where I do a lot of hosting, and of course I have beautiful women on the show all the time. That I will not deal with no jealousy on that because I'm not stopping what I'm doing. That's another thing too. People want to try to stop you from doing what you're doing because of insecurities.
Oh no, that's not the person for you.
And that's what I'm just saying, because like that's why I'm going to want to throw that out too. I just want to do that boomerang effect because I interact with a lot of women, of course, especially on the outside. It's like, okay, I'm building my brand, I'm building my business, of course. So when anything takes off and I'm doing this thing on a regular and going different places, I want you along with the journey with me. I'm not gonna hide nothing from you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. And a lot of, they're just throwing it out there because I know people will have, they feel some type of way. Why is she on there for? Why you co-hosting with her for? People think like that.
Right. Yeah.
I want to bring up a really, and because I want the feedback. I want these opinions. Okay. So I hope if there's anybody logged on watching, I want your opinions on this too. Do you think that somebody can be friends with somebody, whether it was a long, like a serious relationship, or just say they fooled around? Do you think that it's healthy or not healthy to still be able to say I can establish friends? And I'm going to just say it like this. So I don't have a problem with my exes. I really don't. I think that there was something about them that I obviously fell in love with at one time or another. So that good is still there. It just didn't work out. Okay.
Right.
I don't want to live a life to where I'm angry or carrying around those burdens of why things didn't work out. I would rather just can we get along? But I will say that a past relationship is like, you can't talk to that person anymore. You can't be friends with that person anymore. But we're good as friends. We just weren't good as partners.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Desiree. The person that I'm saying you, the person you're with, first of all, the person that you're with, he should be confident in himself. And long he handling his business and doing what he's supposed to be doing, you're not going anywhere.
Miss Wade,
That's just me.
us here, Mr. Jackson. Miss Wade is like, I don't like this.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
because for one, I mean, I'm not gonna handcuff you like that because if I'm comfortable myself, why I need to worry about what you're doing? That's just me. I know people may be different, but long you doing what you're supposed to be doing, she's not going nowhere.
I think it's a in between for me. Because I do have uh I had an ex as a friend, and we were so much better off being friends.
Yeah.
That, I mean, we can talk about things. Oh my God, that we never talked about when we were together. I'm like, what in the world? And then I have another friend that's married, and we coach each other. Now, I must say, you got to know how to truly, because we're all human, right? You can't say, oh, I'm not going to have feelings. You got to know how to manage it, because you can develop feelings. Because you got to remember, when you had it was an ex, even though it didn't work out, you still have feelings for this person. Now, I'm okay with it if we meet. However, even though I meet the person, you still can be dealing with them on that level. So I just think it's custom, it's individual. Again, everything I do is individualized. This may work for you, but it may not work for me. So I can't say it's a no, 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 no. So I
So
just say it's
What
between.
about out in person? Let's say we out on a date. Let's say me and you out on a date, and a guy come up and you introduce me to him. It could be an edge. You say, "Oh, firm, that's my guy I used to date back in the day." I was like, "Okay, what's up, man?" That's just me. I'm not going to say y'all still talk. That's just me. I'm speaking for
Oh
me.
no, I wouldn't do that. No,
But if you
because
come up and talk, you say, "Hey, firm, this guy I used to date or ex, whatever." Say, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" That's
mm.
it. That's just me.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine
so
for me.
here's my I believe that this, and we kind of we touched base a little bit on this. Sorry guys, these feather earrings are getting to my
Nah,
lips.
you good.
That's okay.
These feather earrings, and now I'm knowing why I haven't worn them. So I think it's about those, what we talked about last time was about healthy boundaries,
Right.
communication. If I'm having to keep it a secret, if I am texting that individual, or if we're on the phone, I got to get up and go walk
Mm-hmm.
outside so
There's
you
something
can't hear
wrong with that.
the.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the intentions are not a friendship intentions, but you know, I had, resided in Montana for a few years when I was working with veterans there.
Mm-hmm.
And this person is like truly a unicorn for me. Okay. This person is such a genuinely good person.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, it was not there for, as a forever, relationship kind of thing, this person was so amazing. I mean, when I had a flat in the snow, this person got up in the middle of the night and came and changed this flat in the snow. Because, this born in California, Texas raised girl is not on snow in the first place, but nonetheless changed the tire in the snow. Okay.
Right.
When I tell you that this person was that best friend, I could hang out, I could go hiking with this person. I really enjoyed my company with this person outside of that sexual relationship that we had.
Mm-hmm.
However, and this person lives in Montana. We're in Texas here, but it seems to be that they're still with another relationship. Is that's such an insecurity for that person that I can still be friends. Like, I can still call and say, hey, how are things going? He can message and say, is everything going okay? I hope all is well. And it's like an full on insecurity thing. And I just think, why? Like, what? Like, you act like I can drive to Montana and sleep with this person and
Wow.
that, like, you're insecure for the wrong reasons, right?
True.
Mm-hmm.
So I just truly believe that, you can still have a healthy relationship with an ex
Mm-hmm.
as long as you are setting boundaries and you've got
Correct.
open communication. But
Yes.
it seems to be that I see it in so many, with men and women that have, talked to me about this. This is a huge issue in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But for finish that up, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna jump right back into our conversation with Keisha and of course Desiree and myself. quick commercial break, and we're going to finish this up.
Hi, my name is Delilah Bordeaux, and I'm the founder of Speakar Truth, a nonprofit for survivors of sexual assault. Join us April 8th, 2023 for I Survived From Trauma to Triumph. This time will be spent together sharing stories of triumph from survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, divorce, and sickness. So grab your girls and make sure y'all purchase your tickets at www.speakartruth.org. It's time for us to redefine the beauty that lies beneath our pain. See you there.
Welcome back to Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. Hey, by the way, if you want to showcase your commercial, your brand, you see what we're doing now. It is a fee. So if you have a 30-second commercial ad, it's $18. If you have a 60-second commercial ad, it's $25. And we will showcase it every time we go live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So we want y'all to be plugged in with us. We love to showcase your brand. We love to showcase your business. And like I said, if it's a 60-second commercial, it's $25. If it's a 30-second commercial, it's $18. So plug in, get involved, because we want to take this podcast to the next level. And by the way, we are live streaming, of course, man. And matter of fact, follow us on all media platforms. We are available on Apple Podcasts. We're available on Spotify. We're available on Google Podcasts. You will be able to catch this episode. You'll be able to catch this episode on Apple, Spotify, on Google Podcasts when it gets uploaded today. So you can go back and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Those who are watching us on YouTube, hey, hit the notification button, like, subscribe, comment. We want to get the numbers up. We want to get up to 1,000 subscribers, not just at 1,000, but more than 1,000 subscribers. We want to make sure we bring in healthy content. I appreciate Desiree being along with me as well. She's an access to the podcast. I appreciate her accepted the invitation to join along with me. But she has outside work that she be doing as well. I know before we get back into it, Desiree, I know that you and your friend Finch, y'all have to have a podcast coming up soon. So I want you to elaborate on that as well. Go ahead, Desiree.
So eventually, my friend Michelle and I are definitely going to do a podcast, and it's just going to be a keeping it real podcast. It's going to be about us two girlfriends just wanting everybody's opinion. We think that, we want outside opinions. We want to know what other people are saying. You don't know if your opinion can help somebody else that's going through that same situation. And every situation is different, but it's just kind of given a kind of a feedback kind of thing. So I definitely plan on having her on the show, and then we will definitely let you guys know when that podcast is going to start airing. And we would love for you guys to tune in and give us, any suggestions that you might have or what you would like for us to just discuss. So it's going to just be a lot of girl talk, but we do want the guys to go ahead and chime in because we do think that opposite sex opinion does matter to us.
Awesome stuff. And I know we talk about a lot of great stuff. I know we got 5 minutes left into the show. I think we used to go from 30 minutes to an hour. Now we're doing 2 hours now. So we got 5. That's a good thing because it lets us know that everything growing. The conversations we talk about are very meaningful. So that's a good thing. So we got like 5 minutes left into the show. What else? We have a lot of stuff. I know this is an ongoing thing. It's not like a one and done thing, but as well. But before we get off the air, I want Dr. Wade herself go ahead and plug in your information, how people can follow you on your social media and other platforms you got going on.
Okay, thank you, Furman. You can follow me on Instagram at Coach Keisha W. Coach Keisha spelled KeishaW. You can also follow me on Facebook, TeKeisha Wade, and my name is spelled just like here on the screen. You can also contact me on my website, www.openarms.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Coach Keisha W.
And awesome stuff. And we appreciate you once again as well. What's going on? I ain't want to see myself. There you go.
So,
Get about it.
Dr. Wade, I think before any of the viewers, before we end this podcast, I
Oh,
think it might be good to say, do you, for your advice for others, be in a
Mhm.
relationship, coach and stuff, do you
Mhm.
think that a relationship can survive when you have somebody that is narcissistic?
I'm going to be honest with you. No, you cannot absolutely survive, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to remain spiritually dead, and you're going to be dead. You're going to be a dead man walking, dead woman walking. You can absolutely not survive in that relationship, because you're going to even experience so much brain damage. If you go take a CT, you will see the damage.
So, because I just wanted to put that out there just for anybody that, watches this back, to hear it from, an expert themselves on,
Mm-hmm.
because like I said previously, so many of us, both men and women say, I can change them.
No.
I can change them. So I just wanted you to be able to give that little insight to those that
Yes.
we can change that narcissistic person, if that relationship can last. And I think about, maybe that, maybe there could be a future if that person can acknowledge and
Mm-hmm.
take accountability to their behaviors and choose to make that change within themselves first.
Yes, they have to. They have to make that change. And they got to learn how to manage their behavior.
because I'm glad you brought that up. Desiree, mentioned that, and I was looking at. They try to compare narcissism to a medical condition, like a personality disorder. That's what I
It
just was looking up.
It, I
it
think it
can
is.
be. It is one. Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that it is. Just as somebody that has their master's in social work, I have read a lot about this.
Mm-hmm.
Subject, this topic, however you want to say. But it's kind of also, and the reason why I asked that, even though I know what that answer is to it, Miss Wade, I just wanted to hear. It's kind of like with an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot you cannot change somebody from being an alcoholic. That person has to change themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If
That's it.
anybody watching, it is a real diagnosis to be a narcissistic person.
Yes.
And until that person can admit and choose to make that change, you are not going to be the person that can change it for them.
Right.
I agree with that. I'm looking at something to. I know. I'm looking. I just pulled up some of my pad. It said Healthline says 9 signs you're dating a narcissist and how to get out. There was an article that was printed back on May 1st, 2022. Is an individual who have narcissistic personality disorder (NPD) believe they are superior and unique compared to others. Signs you could be dating an individual with NPD include the fact that they have very few or no friends, lack empathy, and often gaslight you. What you say about that? They have very few or no friends.
They do, because the individuals can't deal with that. And most of the time they're jealous of the friends. They damage the relationships because they are very damaging people with their behavior. And who wants to deal with that? Only people that they have in their corner is a flying monkey, or
Mm,
or an enabler, but they're
mm,
not a friend.
And I agree with her completely. I don't think that they have a lot of relationships because of the fact that it's also that self isolation, but
Mm-hmm.
the isolation they're trying to do to their partner.
Mm-hmm.
And
um,
you'll see with a narcissistic person that they'll sit there and they want to shame you for having friends, for being
Mm-hmm.
a very sociable person. Those
Mm-hmm.
people aren't your friends.
No.
Why do you have to be the center of attention? Why are you always having to go do this? And it's really because they're choosing to self isolate themselves, and they want
Mm-hmm.
to self isolate you so
Mm-hmm.
that way they have more control over you. That
Right.
way you also feel like that this is my only friend.
Right.
This
so,
is, I have to accept the behaviors you're giving to me because you're the only person I can go to on my problems. You're the only person that
mm.
I am able to call without you being insecure and jealous.
Correct.
I'll
And
say this
this.
one too. Go
Mhm.
ahead, Keisha. Go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to, and I'm sorry, from I wanted
No, you
to,
good. Yeah, I get it.
I wanted to really point out this definition because I'm a definition type of person. Personality is a personality disorder. What is a personality? The combination of characteristics or qualities that form, keyword form, an individual's distinctive character. Their personality, that narcissistic behavior is formed. And this is how this person has become. But go ahead, Furman.
I'm gonna ask y'all this one, and I want to get y'all honest opinion if y'all agree with this one. Healthline says in the article, when someone posts one too many selfies on their social media or talk about themselves constantly during a first date, you might call them a narcissist. Do y'all agree or disagree?
Not
I'm going to disagree on this. Okay, I think that there could be other underlying issues, and one of that is insecurity. That person probably post a lot because they do need that attention. They're thinking about themselves, that they're needing that that reassurance of. And so I don't say that it's a narcissistic trait on that.
No.
And before we end, I also just want to say that, it doesn't, being a narcissistic person does not make you a bad person. There's usually something that's happened in your past that has made you that way that you are. And I'm not saying it's that way with everybody. Okay. Some people are just that way, but usually I see it in a lot of people that have a lot of trauma from their past that has made them, sometimes it's a defense mechanism. Sometimes it's just, from mental abuse as a child. And then what we talked about earlier, Dr. Wade, about, is your mom that way? Was your dad a person? Was it in an environmental situation that made you, to be a narcissistic person? It does not mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you can't love somebody who's a narcissistic person. It just means that it needs to be addressed. You need that help if you want to be able to grow and be successful in a relationship, or to, really, honest to God, live life to its fullest. I think that if you are somebody that's suffering from those traits, you're really missing out on a lot.
Yes, a whole lot. A healthy life.
I'm gonna say this one too. They were charming at first. People who have PND gravitate towards grandiosity and fantasy. Your relationship might have felt like a fairy tale at first. Maybe they complimented you constantly or told you they loved you within the first month. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I disagree too on some of that. I think it's, again, in between, because I'm a lover. I just love. I can't help who I love, but it's how you categorize that love. Is it an agape love, or is it a sexual type of love? I mean, it's so many factors there. Some of these things are just basic generalized statements and not the individual behavior. But yes, do they have some of these type of things that's on this list? Yes, but you got to be real careful to say, okay, well, if this person doing this, they're a narcissist, because I may display that, but that doesn't mean I'm a narc.
Because I know some people run away from you, and I ain't say within the first month, but then the first day they come up and tell you, "I love you. I want to marry you. Come have my baby."
Oh no, that's too much.
Look, I was looking around. For
I love you. Have my baby.
I'm telling you, that's too much.
Right,
I want to marry you. May I have my baby.
Going back to what we had talked about earlier, is that, it is part of their manipulative trait to woo you.
Yes.
To be wrapped in, to get your family wrapped in, to get your friends thinking they're the greatest. Oh my gosh, she's such a Prince Charming. But until then, they have you where they want you, and then it's like, bam, the real side of it comes out. So that it's kind of one of those things. Like, I'm a very affectionate person. When I love you, I love hard. I go in deep. Even being hurt 1,000 times, I still wear my heart on my sleeve. And, and so you would think I would learn my lesson and be like, listen, make sure that you're being aware of things. But unfortunately, I don't. So I think that it's kind of goes both ways. Like, somebody might be like, oh, she's a little extra. She's too much. It's just me being who I am. It doesn't make me a narcissistic person either. And so I'm kind of like Miss Wade, who she says, I love love. I believe in love. I believe in that affection. I believe in giving my 100%. I'm that way, but that doesn't mean that that's necessarily that we show those same traits or that we should be diagnosed with that same diagnosis.
Correct.
Look, this is what they say. They say maybe they tell you how smart you are, or emphasize how comparable you are. Even you just start seeing each other.
Oh, they over
Desiree, you so smart.
they overdo. I put it this way. It's okay to affirm your partner, but they overdo it. Like,
So
you
that's
can
it.
tell when they overdo it. Like, they will, you will get that feeling like, why are you keep saying this?
Cause you smart. I would tell you strong though. I ain't gonna lie. You pick up something, I'm like, oh, you strong.
Okay, thank you. But then if it's a constant overdoing, you like, because one thing I know about a narcissist, they can overdo stuff, and you can tell that it's so false, like it's not genuine. No, you can tell the genuine people. Like, I can tell you right now, Desiree, you're so beautiful and smart. We know that. Furman, we love you. You're handsome. Okay, we know that.
Yeah, I do
But
know that. Appreciate
yeah,
you noticing that.
let me be quiet. But you just know when somebody is just, come on now. You know when somebody's being too much.
But I know y'all ladies can relate to this, and I'm gonna let Desiree chime in on this one. If someone come on too strong at the beginning, be weary. Sure, we all love to feel lusted for, but real love has a nurtured and grown. Desiree, I want you to chime in on that. If someone come too on too strong at the beginning, be weary. See, y'all ladies deal with that. Cause a guy, you can just blush, you can smile at him. Oh, I love you. I'm gonna take you home with my mama. Let's get married.
So, from, a previous podcast, I think it's a matter of, there's part of it that you want that flattery, right? But then there's got to be that part of you that says, wait a minute, why are you so in? Are you just wanting me for sex? Is that why you're flattering me? And then again, on this topic here, sometimes that not genuine flattery comes out because it is part of the trait to manipulate you, and it's usually done to the person that's vulnerable. And really, if you are confident in saying, I know I'm smart, I know I'm strong because I can lift this,
We
you
strong.
don't generally get a suckered in, right? Like, you're
Right.
like, because you're already confident in yourself. You don't
Right.
need this overly generous person who wants to tell you 20 times in a day how stunningly beautiful you are, but I think that there's also, I will find it as a red flag only because I think that there's got to be that chase. I want to be chased, but I also want to chase you. I want you to want to know more about me, not just like, I'm diving in and you're the greatest thing in the world. I'm not the greatest thing in the world. Obviously, if I was the greatest thing in the world, I would not be I wouldn't be divorced as many times as I have
Oh, so
been.
you playing
Or
hard to get then?
it's not
I just being silly.
playing hard to get. How can you truly tell me that you love me and I'm the greatest thing that's ever happened to you if you've not taken the time to invest in me, to know my life, to know how I am as a mother with my children, to see me with my granddaughter? Like, these are the things that I find so true and dear to me. And if you think that you're in love with me because we spent one night having drinks or because you got the cookie, you don't love me. You don't know
Cookie
me.
Right.
Monster.
Right.
You
Get
don't
that
see
cookie.
how hard I work. You don't see how committed I am and how I'm really married to my work more than I am to a lot of things that I should be, because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. You're in love with the fact that,
You got the
one, I'm
Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
or you're in love with what you're seeing right here and now, but you
Right.
need time to actually get to invest and know one another. And
I
and
agree.
that, it's again, and I'm not saying that makes you a narcissistic person if you all of a sudden fall for that. Like, I it's something to do with that person on the inside. If they absolutely say, oh my gosh, he's the greatest guy ever, he told me 20 times how beautiful I was. I don't want to be told 20 times, because guess what? You're going to see me without makeup. You're going to see me whenever I'm hovered over a toilet because I've got the flu. Am I still going to be that beautiful? Are you still going to pay me those compliments? I want those compliments for no reason at all throughout, not just in the beginning to woo me over and steal my heart.
Yeah. So what about this one? They don't have any or many long. Okay, they don't have any or many long-term friends. It's common for people with NPD to have frequently conflict with others. I do believe that. dig deeper into their connection, and you may notice they have few close friends.
Ooh, I'm going to go yes and no. Okay. And I'm going to say no. Lord, if my ex was watching this, he'd say, see, I told you were a narcissistic person.
You're a narcissist, Desiree? I'm
Look at me.
messing with you. Go ahead.
Whatever you gonna ask.
Maybe sometimes with me there is conflict, maybe because I've chosen not to let myself be the doormat, because I've chosen to stand up for myself, and because I have allowed for so long in my life to let people just control what I do, that now that I'm standing up for myself, and now that I can say, and it's not even about conflict, it only becomes conflict whenever the person on the other end is being defensive about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sitting there and you're treating me poorly, and I say I will not tolerate this, or I'm not going to allow you to be in my personal space because of how you're talking to me, that doesn't mean that I'm making conflict with that person. That means I'm standing up for myself. And we don't need to get that mistaken. There's a difference between wanting to have conflict all the time and having drama, or saying that I know my worth.
Right.
Here goes something. I know y'all gonna jump on this one.
Oh, he's
they
just
pick on you constantly. They pick
what?
on you constantly.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe at first it feel like teasing, but then it becomes mean. Suddenly, everything you do, from what you wear and eat to who you hang out with and what you watch on TV, is a problem for them. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I agree 100%.
I agree. Yeah.
Yes, so much. And it's like, it's that controlling issue that they have. But again, they're pointing out things that they find as a flaw in you, even if it's not a flaw, because one, of the controlling, and two, because they want you to be who they want you to be. And
Right.
but what's crazy about that is that they can sit there and say to you, they can act like, I'm going to support you. Yes, go to the gym. Yes, I'm all about you eating healthy. Yes, I'm about
going
this.
To the gym for?
They turn right around and say, oh, are you going to the gym because you're seeing somebody at the gym? Are you, well, if you would choose to eat this, then it could help you to lose some weight. That's all this whole manipulative side of them that they show. And it's a way to help. It's a way that it's damaging you as a person, and you respecting yourself by that back and forth, supporting you and then belittling you. That's what they do.
They do.
So they say it is a warning sign. If they knock you down with insults when you do something worth celebrating, get yourself out of there. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I agree. You got to get out of there.
Agree. And that is something that you will find in them, when you're at your high and you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not. Okay, I'll give a really good example. I was excited about being praised for something, and I had said, listen to this email that came across. It was flattering. I was wanting to share it, not because I needed to brag about myself in a way to feed my ego, but because I was really proud of that hard work that I did. And the response to that and it was said in a joking manner, right? But I knew that it was a serious thing, right? And it was saying, oh, well, I hope that you can fit into your office tomorrow with how big your head is.
Oh, wow.
And so for me, I was like, wait, I'm your woman. Like, you should be all up for me and being like, babe, I'm so proud of you too. That's amazing. And I'm so proud that your hard work is being recognized. But instead, you thought that saying something to me in a joking manner, and they do that to you because they want to see how you're going to react. It's their way of it's their way of saying that if you act psycho crazy and say, how could you talk to me like that? They say, I was laughing. I was joking. I was just playing. That's what they're going to say to you. And so they do it so that they can have the upper hand of how they can control the outcome of what they've said to you.
Because they say this. They want you to know that you're not better than them, because to them, nobody is.
It's true. They do. They think that no one is. You're not better than them. Who are you? I'm superior. I'm God. In their mind, they're a small God.
Let's talk about this one, the gaslight. Gaslight is a form of manipulation and emotional abuse, and it's a hallmark of narcissism. People with NPD may tell blunt lies, falsely accuse others, spin the truth, and often distort your reality, especially in response to perceived challenges of authority or fear of abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
Signs of a gaslight include the following: you no longer feel that person you used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You feel more anxious and less confident than you used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You often wonder if you're being too sensitive.
Yeah.
Feel like everything you do is wrong.
Yeah.
You always think it's your fault when things go wrong. You apologize often. Do y'all apologize often?
Yeah, I did. I had to apologize all the time for everything because they feel absolutely make you feel so small. The belittling is just ridiculous. They make you feel like you're nothing, like
Yeah.
you're trash.
And,
Everything
and
you say is nothing.
and I think what we need to realize is that a lot of those things that they're doing is them projecting what they are feeling about themselves, and
True.
they're putting it on you. Okay.
Yes.
If they're sitting there and saying things that are accusatory, or they're saying things like, well, you know, for instance, not being able to support you when you're doing well, that's
Mhm.
because they themselves don't feel that they're doing well.
Correct. And
Oh,
they disassociate themselves and they create this out of body person so that they don't have to feel, and that's what they do. And at that moment, their disassociative attack is you. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to be that person that they have to lay all the blame on, all the insecurity on, to keep from
oh.
feeling.
Here goes something y'all gonna jump on too. They do this because they often doubt themselves as a way to gain superiority.
Mhm.
Narcissists thrive off of being worshipped
Oh
as
yeah.
they use to manipulate. That's y'all word y'all was saying.
Uh-huh.
Tactics to get you to do just that.
I agree.
And Miss Wade, wouldn't you agree? Don't you think that whenever a relationship ends, and it ends like the narcissistic person is always the victim,
Oh
and
yeah.
they have to make sure that they are telling the world that you were the person who was at fault. They have to tell the world
Mhm.
how you hurt them and what a horrible person you are. And what I love more than anything is that you will usually hear somebody who is a true manipulator accusing the other person of being the manipulator.
Exactly. They call it what? The smear campaign.
Mm.
And so and it's like, and again, it's that projection. It is what you are actually doing that you're
Uh-huh.
then to then accuse the other person of. And I'm always like
Yes.
thinking, really, everything that you said about me is exactly what you are guilty of. But okay, I'll take it. And I think that
Exactly.
the best part is that we need, men or women that are on that other side of it need to be able to say, I'm confident enough that I don't have to defend it.
Right. I'm okay. Let's gray rock them.
They think there's another. They think they're right about everything and never apologize. They say that's why fighting with a narcissist may feel impossible.
Mm-hmm. It is because they think every single thing in their mind that is right. You can't tell them any different, and they will argue with you if they have to.
So
And
that means
and I
that's
think
mental. Go ahead,
Oh
unthinkable
Desiree.
yeah.
false. They come up with false scenario, false things that happen in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it comes out and it happened one way,
Mm-hmm.
and we both lived that one way. I think that they still will always want to tell the story in a whole different way,
Mm-hmm.
that it didn't even happen, and you could
Oh yeah.
literally have a film, and it still is they're right, you're wrong.
Right, to
Most
fit
definitely
their
they gonna do
false
that.
reality. Yeah, they want to fit their false reality because they live in a fantasy world. They created their own world and they want you to fit, and they want everything to fit into that reality, their reality.
And
Yep.
most definitely. I mean, we got to finish this up. I know this is if
Yeah.
y'all want to those that's a big shout out to the General Shepherd Way for watching us on
Yeah,
YouTube.
thank you,
God
General
bless you as
Shepherd.
well. For watching us. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I did subscribe to your YouTube channel as well. Shepherd Way, go subscribe to the Walking This Way is Impact World Podcast YouTube channel as well. Like I said, we had a great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We went in all over 2 hours, but we still good. We still having fun, of course. And we heard what was said today. I know big shout out to Desiree's son on his 21st birthday. I know you got some things planned with him today,
Yeah,
so we're not gonna be on here all
happy
day.
birthday.
And so like that, because big shout out to Keisha. Thank you for taking time of your productive schedule to hang out with me and Desiree this morning.
Thank
And
you.
also Y'all have a great day. I'm going to see that John Wick 4 tonight. So that's what I'm going to do is enjoy my evening watching that John Wick Chapter 4. Man, I need to go see that one. I'm looking for I love the John Wick movies. I'm going to see it tonight. So hang out with my sister. We're going to see the John Wick movie tonight.
Hey,
Man, y'all have... Go ahead, Desiree. You finna say something?
Furman, don't forget about your thing on Monday.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got the interview Monday morning at 10 a.m. with What's Up Dallas magazine. Big shout out to Rachel. She's the publisher and founder, CEO of the magazine. I'll be doing that Monday. And we're gonna be back Tuesday night here on the podcast as well. Wednesday night, we're gonna be back with the podcast next Saturday. So we got a lot of content going out forth and everything else. Matter of fact, I don't want to leave the show because I want y'all to plug in what y'all got going on so people would know. We're going to start with our guest, and then we're going to take it on to Desiree, and then we're going to close it out with some final remarks. So, Keisha, go ahead and plug in, and plug your YouTube channel as well. Go ahead.
Yes, so my YouTube channel is the Coaching Experience Show with an Xperience, the Coaching Experience Show on YouTube and Facebook. I also have a lot of things coming up, speaking engagements, classes, courses, and my biggest is the Power of Breaking the Silence, the Blueprint of a Survivor. It's a collaborative book. I'm the visionary, and I'll also be coming out with my own individual book here soon, His Secret Life with a Secret Wife. So stay tuned. I have a lot coming. So stay in contact with me because I got a lot for you.
And that's what's up. Go ahead, Desiree.
I'm just grateful to be here. And so I just want you guys to log in on Tuesday night and Wednesday night to see what we're talking about. Of course, if you need any resources with veteran services, please give me a shout. If I can't help you with the city of Dallas, I will be sure to link you with somebody that can. And so other than that, thank you so much, Ms. Wade, for coming on today. I think it's beneficial for everybody listening, but also for us that are on this call.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love being here with y'all.
And awesome. Like I said, man, y'all have a great Saturday. Remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. They thought they were going to see tomorrow, and they didn't. Let's live like it's our last. The most important is love ourselves. Speak words of life over yourself. The Bible said death and life is the power of their tongues to eat the fruit thereof. So speak life over yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself I'm beautiful. Tell yourself I'm gorgeous. Tell yourself I'm handsome. Tell yourself I'm succeeding. Tell yourself I'm winning. Even the Bible tells you I'm the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. Blessed going in, blessed going out. Lean to me in nature. Don't have to borrow anything. Start speaking these things over your life and watch your life change around. But it starts with mindset first. So you have to change the mind. So, man, y'all have a great weekend. We're going to be back here Tuesday night here on the podcast. We're not going to be in the AM. We're going to be in the PM. So we know we do the podcast prime time on Tuesday and Wednesday, Saturday mornings. We did Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Man, we appreciate everybody for supporting us. Man, get with Keisha, support her, what she got going on. Desiree as well, what she got going on. She got a lot of great work that she's doing in the city of Dallas. Matter of fact, before we get off, talk about that. I know you've had since time with your son for his birthday, Desiree. You're doing stuff for the city of Dallas. Let them know as well what you're doing as well, also with the city of Dallas. And not just that, but with 100 million as well. Go ahead.
Yes. So with the city of Dallas, I work for the Veterans Treatment Court. So if you have any Class C misdemeanor citations with the city of Dallas, please give me a call if you're a veteran. And let's get those citations dismissed in lieu of paying your fines. You would do community service. Also with 100 Men Enterprise, and that's 100men.net. A lot of available resources for our youth and for men and women. It's not just, for men. Also, if you are a veteran and you are in a relationship and that relationship is, it doesn't have to be married. You can just be partners. We also have marriagemanagement.org, and I am the administrative director for that. So if you would like to get some healthy tools for your marriage, please log on, look at our workshops. We actually have one going on today, but we have them all over. We have some coming up in Pennsylvania, or I should say in New Jersey area. But and one that just got launched, we're going to have it in Colorado on, I believe, 4/29. So El Paso, San Antonio, wherever you're logging in at, we definitely have them all over. And then also with Heroes Rise Alliance, please reach out to us if you're needing any kind of services as well and you're a veteran. And then not this month, but next month, we'll be back on for our Coffee and Community podcast, which is all about veteran resources that are available in your area.
Man, that's what's up. these women got a lot of great things going on, ladies and gentlemen. Plug in with these ladies. They're very awesome in what they're doing. I appreciate them. I applaud them, and I give them their roses to them. So y'all get them plugged into what they're doing as well. I also want to give a big shout out to Coach Shay. She be with me on Tuesday. Big shout out to the Quan as well. Also, they be with me on the podcast. Can't forget about them. Thank everybody for supporting us. Antoinette Stewart, big shout out to her for supporting the podcast with promoting and letting everybody know. Big shout out to Michelle Little as well. She does the same thing. Just big shout out to everybody, man, who just really been supportive. And like I said, man, y'all enjoy your weekend once again to your son. Desiree, happy birthday to him. He's a king as well.
Yep.
A lot of great things for him in his life. A young man. A lot of God life, a lot ahead of him. Keep doing your thing, young man, and just keep making your mom proud and make yourself proud also. Also with your son Keisha as well. Big shout out to him. I know he was going in the background. Big shout out to that young king as well.
Thank
He
you.
do a lot of great things as well. So, man, y'all have a great day, man. We could go 3 hours, but we can't go 3 hours. I could. I'm the CEO and founder. I can do that. But we got life outside the podcast. We got life outside this place. We got to leave the studio, man. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy your, of course, they say the Sabbath. Enjoy it. And we're going to be back here Tuesday night here on Walking This Way, Impact Force Podcast. Peace, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
I think you only love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tyson with the fade, not the air, my hands rockin'. When I link with ball point, you know it's not